Thank you, my loves, for choosing a video from Boylove among the thousands out there. I hope you enjoy the story. The Omega film Emperor Alex is 35 this year, having achieved fame since his youth and won countless major and minor awards. He's a name movie fans worship like a god. After many years in the industry, he's no longer too interested in fame or fortune. He has more than enough of both. He's taken on challenging roles and now only chooses a couple of scripts a year that interest him, occasionally appearing in luxury brand endorsements. Most of his time is spent idolizing. The film Emperor is no exception. The idol he's been following is a fresh, hot topic, little fresh meat with only a few thousand die-hard fans. He's the captain of a newly debuted boy band, a cool and handsome alpha with a face so aloof he looks like he's owed $100 million. This kind of over-the-top swagger is what the film Emperor daydreams about. For this little alpha, Julian, the film Emperor spares no effort, even pouring his financial resources into pushing him to debut as the center. CDs are brought home by the carton. Posters cover the walls like high-end wallpaper, regularly updated. The old posters are, of course, not thrown away but laminated and carefully stored like treasures. Every time his idol performs, the film Emperor's office turns into a total mobilization campaign. Staff work overtime, dozens of voting software are opened at once, and it's even more chaotic than when he's preparing for a new film. His manager, Tony, unable to bear it, sits in front of him, looking half amused, half frustrated. If you really like him that much, why not just ask old Mr. Wong, he says. Within an hour, he could have the guy perform a private concert for you. You've given so much to the company over the years. That's a small favor old Mr. Wong would surely do. Old Mr. Wong, the company's boss, is currently living a happy life with a little fresh meat, Alpha. The film Emperor shakes his head, utterly serious. No, he says. What if in real life he's the kind of person who farts while talking, chews loudly, and constantly taps his feet and grinds his teeth? At my age, idolizing is hard enough. I just want to keep this perfect image of him in my heart. Ironically, the little alpha is also a die-hard fan of the film Emperor. Years ago, he watched the classic movie that propelled the film Emperor to stardom, where he played a demonic sect leader with flowing hair and a captivating gaze that shook the young man's heart to its core. When the film Emperor released a new film, the alpha would buy tickets for the first show, the late show, and the midday show, even renting out the entire theater. When the film Emperor published a book, he would copy it by hand and memorize it like an ancient poem. Which products does the film Emperor endorse? The alpha would buy not just one but all varieties, even purchasing extras as backups. The only difference is that while the film Emperor idolizes with a sense of decorum and rationality, the little alpha dreams of sleeping with his idol. And if he could conveniently mark him, all the better. The film Emperor's new film is a historical court drama about a young master whose family is annihilated. To seek revenge, he enters the palace as a consort, rising through the ranks to become emperor and fulfill his goal. It's a familiar script with a familiar flavor. The film Emperor naturally takes on the role of the young master, and like most court dramas, the main character is accompanied by a few loyal, silently loving cannon fodder characters. Cannon fodder number 1 is the young master's attendant, a childhood friend who secretly loves his master. After entering the palace, he takes a blade for the protagonist and successfully earns his bento box, a euphemism for getting killed off. This film is a massive production with a huge budget, hailed as a movie with a cost exceeding $100 million. From the consorts in the palace to the loyal attendants, the large cast of characters is a prize every entertainment company covets. After a fierce competition, the little fresh meat with financial backing finally secures the role of cannon fodder number 1 alongside the film Emperor. The film Emperor, a veteran in the industry, has worked with directors and screenwriters before. The actor playing the opposing emperor is also an old friend, an alpha with a tough exterior but a girlish heart. On the first day of filming, the crew held an official ceremony. The film Emperor has been famous for a long time and no longer relies on his looks to attract fans, so his style is increasingly simple. That day, he just wore casual clothes to sign in. The lounge door was pushed open, and the alpha friend appeared with an even bolder style, a t-shirt with flashy floral shorts. He strode in and hugged the film emperor. Good sisters are good sisters. We have the same fashion sense, he exclaimed. I have that same shirt, you know. Brand X, right? After the discount, it's $199. I bought 7 of them in different colors to rotate. When the little alpha entered, he saw the film emperor and his alpha friend gushing over each other professionally. 8 dedicated assistants surrounded him, pouring water, tidying up, and carrying luggage. A small commotion ensued, but the young star, despite being meticulously served, looked a bit embarrassed, standing in the middle of the room, frowning and blushing. The film emperor thought to himself, damn, he's so handsome, even more so than in his acting. I want to marry him. The little alpha thought, oh my god, I'm so nervous. How do I greet him naturally? Should I shake his hand first or say his name? Mama, my knees are weak. The alpha friend thought, ugh, Gucci has new collection. Where did this little peacock come from? So young and already showing off. Oh, it's the brand the film emperor endorses. Is he provoking us? It must be. Let's go, sisters, send him to hell. Despite his inner turmoil, the film emperor, with his superior acting skills, maintained a calm and composed demeanor. He waved his hand. Julian, right? Come sit here. Mr. Alex, hello, I'm Julian, the little fresh meat stammered, his ears turning red on his first close encounter with his idol. Mr. Alex, I'm a fan of yours. Can you sign something for me? As the film emperor looked for a pen, the little fresh meat lifted his shirt, revealing a well-defined 8-pack with sharp lines. In the film emperor's heart, flowers bloomed. He held the pen in one hand and unapologetically felt the young man's abs with the other. Oh, I've never signed on abs before, he said. I'll sign slowly. Tell me if it hurts. The film emperor's full name is Alex. Fearing he might hurt Julian and feeling a little shy, he didn't use his usual signature but wrote each stroke carefully. A big, serious name took him a full 5 minutes to complete. Oh, it looks like this character is off-center. I'm so sorry, it's been a long time since I signed so seriously. It's okay, Mr. Alex, you can just wipe it off and do it again. Take your time. Did my handwriting turn out bad? No, everything you write is beautiful, Mr. Alex. If the company didn't forbid it, I'd even get it tattooed on me. Oh, if you like, I can draw on you every day. I was in a youth painting club when I was a kid, you know. I know, the little alpha replied. I've even seen your sketches, especially the one of the apple. The alpha friend, blinded by the abs, discreetly patted his own soft belly, muttering under his breath, what a show-off. Julian cherished the signature on his abs so much that he didn't walk normally, fearing his clothes would rub it off. He hunched over and held his chest, shuffling out of the room. His agent, Tony, couldn't take it anymore. When no one was looking, he slapped the young man on the back and gritted his teeth. My goodness, my lord, can you please stand up straight? Your idol is right there on the ground. Your posture is like a frozen shrimp. Do you want to be a frozen shrimp? The best you can hope for is that he'll remember you during a hot pot meal. You two will be filming together for over a month. If the signature gets rubbed off, you can just ask him to sign it again tomorrow. But for this month, you need to behave yourself. If Mr. Alex is happy, maybe you two can even become friends. He's such a good guy. Maybe he can take you along and help you get famous too. Julian heard this and silently screamed, I don't want to show off with him. I want to go through my rut with him. Julian had a secondary account with the handle Alex is my home, specifically for idolizing. Over half of its content was related to Alex, and the other half was filled with the lovesick thoughts of a young man, all directed at Alex. Back at the hotel, Julian drew the curtains, took off his shirt, set up 4 lights, and took 20 different angle and 30 different pose photos. He finally found one he was happy with and posted it on his secondary account. The account had been active for a long time and was quite popular. He often posted previously unreleased photos of Alex, sometimes even running giveaways, so his fan count had reached hundreds of thousands. The photo immediately garnered a flood of comments. Alex on a horse made of stone. Bro, you wrote this yourself. My Alex's signature isn't like that. I have the real thing from the Wanji Film Festival last year. JPG Alex holding the person upstairs. Can you sell it to me? I'll pay 2,000. JPG Alex holding an air conditioner. Haha, this little brother's move is 666. Alex holding a key. Only 2,000 for the Alex's signature? I'll offer 5,000. Alex in the corner of my pants. Left green dragon, right white tiger. Alex bro in my arms, no back pain, no leg fatigue. Sorry, I can't write any more of this. JPG Alex with a lighter. Bro, don't be shy, try taking a nude photo. With those abs, Alex bro will surely sign for you again. Alex feeling frustrated. Bro, I also have Alex's signature. Attached image is a signature on a neck. Alex's little baby. How do all you guys get the Alex's special signature? Can you teach me a little? Julian looked at the comments with pity, thinking to himself, you are all blind mortals. You can't even recognize Alex's handwriting. You should all be expelled from the fan club. He chose one comment to reply to. It's not just that Alex wrote it himself, he wrote it on my abs, you know. Alex on a horse made of stone. Bro, you wrote this yourself. Repeated several times. The first scene for Julian was quite simple. The young master is asleep, and the attendant quietly enters, covers him with a blanket, and then, unable to resist, leans down and kisses him lightly on the forehead. No dialogue, just 3 actions. Enter, cover, kiss. The director, thinking he wasn't a professional, deliberately chose a light scene to ease him in. Alex was already lying on the bed, feeling happy and full of anticipation. He secretly adjusted his position, trying to find the perfect angle to receive the first kiss in his career with the little idol he adored. Meanwhile, Julian was gripping his agent's sleeve, looking flustered. Bro, should I walk in with a confident stride or like a gentle scholar? Should I step with my left or right foot to look more like an alpha? The agent sighed in exasperation. If you're so capable, why don't you walk in with your third foot to be a perfect alpha? He doesn't even see anything with his eyes closed anyway. The agent gritted his teeth. Good heavens, the script is so clear. Why are you so confused? Your idol is lying right in front of you. You just have to steal a kiss, something you're practically doing yourself. The script is less than 100 words. What's the problem? Julian dejectedly got up from his chair. It's not the same. I would never do it in a sneaky way. I would pursue him openly and honestly. The agent scoffed. Then go confess to your film emperor. If you dare, I'll let you use your official Weibo account for a day. Julian immediately lowered his eyes and huddled at the agent's feet, whispering mournfully, I'm afraid he'll reject me. Before the scene began, Julian, though nervous, tried to act seriously. His face was so red under the makeup that it looked like it was about to evaporate. Alex, meanwhile, lay on the bed full of anticipation, though he noticed the little idol's lips felt unusually hot. He guessed it was either the weather or that the young man had a slight fever from being on set for the first time. That morning was all Alex's scenes, and after the kissing scene, he had to move on to the next one, so he couldn't leave the set. He asked his assistant, Linda, to give Julian a box of fever reducer. Assistant Linda found Julian's lounge and explained his purpose to the agent. The agent was immediately grateful. Thank you so much, Mr. Alex. Our Julian had a slight cold yesterday and had to wake up early this morning, so he has a bit of a fever and diarrhea. I was just about to go buy some medicine. On his way out, Assistant Linda walked past the restroom and heard the sound of rushing water, muttering to herself, he looks like a big, imposing alpha on the outside, but inside he's so fragile and weak, not even as strong as a beta like me. The agent, left alone in the lounge, rolled his eyes at the restroom door and couldn't help but blurt out, his feathers haven't even grown in yet, but his head is already full of trash. He got hard just from one kiss. The director, who was over 60, had been secretly worried that the Little Fresh Meats fan base would be difficult to control. He was old and didn't want to be torn apart by netizens someday. Despite his cool and dominant persona, Julian was very polite in reality. He never blushed when scolded, was quick to apologize to his senior co-stars, and obediently stood by the director to learn about acting. Even when filming day and night, he never complained and was very cooperative. The only thing Julian did as he pleased was bring his own unique nanny van to the set. Knowing that the food on set was unpalatable, he cooked his own meals and brought them to his idol every day. At first, Alex felt shy and only ate a little, but after tasting his cooking twice, he would automatically go to the nanny van at mealtimes to wait for food. This kid's cooking skills were truly amazing. Alex's resting spot was fixed near the director's. Surrounding him was a circle of veterans with whom he had close friendships. This was the power center of the entire film crew. Given Julian's status and experience, he could only stand and watch from a distance. Within a few days, Alex noticed this. He sighed softly. The little idol is good at everything, but he's too honest. So during the lunch break, he casually pulled the young man along. He ordered a few dishes to go and told Julian to take them out first. At lunchtime, Julian, holding a thermal lunchbox, walked confidently in front of the veterans of the crew. The experienced actors in the crew immediately saw what Alex was doing. They happily played along. Kids these days are so thoughtful. Just 2 days ago, I was complaining to little Alex that the food here isn't to my liking at all. As a young man, you should take care of your seniors. Come here and hang out whenever you're free. Your two assistants just stand there like two wooden stumps. Sometimes little Alex doesn't even have a sip of water after a scene. The veteran actor playing the Prime Minister, Mr. Lee, remarked with a chuckle. The two assistants, Kim and Liam, standing behind Alex holding a thermos, could only swallow their tears and quietly fade into the background. From that day on, a small folding chair was added next to Alex's seat. When he wasn't filming, Julian would sit there, watching his idol act intently, holding a thermos and waiting to pour him tea during breaks. Although he was a bit naive in his social interactions, Julian's emotional intelligence was always online. If it was a night shoot, he'd prepare coffee for the director. During the day, he'd switch to hot sugary water. Sometimes, he'd secretly give the Prime Minister, Mr. Lee, 2 packets of pure tea that were just right for his taste. With such frequent interactions, Julian silently infiltrated Alex's close circle of friends like a frog in warm water. He single-handedly lowered the average age of the veteran group by 2 years. Being smart and quick-witted, he would quickly grasp what people said and learn a great deal. In this industry, a child who isn't impatient or impulsive is truly likable. Looking at the young man with the eyes of a senior, Alex genuinely liked this kid. He was 10 parts arrogant in his heart, thinking his choice of idol was correct. This kind of character truly is the gold standard for a good idol. Today's scene was after the young master's family was wiped out and he and his attendant were on the run. The young master, having never gotten his hands dirty, went to the river to catch fish and accidentally slipped, falling into the water. The attendant immediately jumped in to save him. After changing and putting on makeup, Alex got into the water. When the assistant director called action, he began his scene, pretending to drown. A splash echoed in the water. Soon after, a hot body pressed against him. As described in the script, Alex leaned his full weight onto the attendant, and his costume opened slightly underwater, revealing a pale, slender neck. Some omegas, even with suppressants, will still emit a faint scent. Alex was one of them, so he always used scent blockers to cover it. The problem was that the blocker dissolved in water. A faint pheromone trail spread between the two. The scent of roses, both intense and ambiguous, made one's heart race. Julian, already infatuated with Alex, felt his heart was about to jump out of his chest. By the time he realized what he was doing, his hand was already inside the costume, pressed against Alex's hip. His nose couldn't help but lightly brush against the gland on the back of his neck. Omegas are very sensitive, and this could be considered sexual harassment. Alex's face remained calm, but his hand movements became stronger. Underwater, he used bubbles to block the camera's view and subtly pushed himself backward. Fortunately, the scene was filmed far from the shore, so it wasn't visible. The wet clothes clung to their bodies, revealing every curve of the Omega's figure. Julian's costume was of lower quality and became almost transparent when wet. Besides his visible abs and chest muscles, another part of him was also standing at attention. As soon as the director yelled "cut," Alex and Julian swam to shore. On the bank, assistants and crew members quickly rushed over. Julian instinctively shielded Alex, covering him completely while leaving himself exposed to everyone. The only river in the film city was shared by several film crews, so it couldn't be cleared, and the crowd was chaotic. From the corner of his eye, Alex saw a few people in the distance secretly raising their phones. He was a little angry. Even alphas should be respected. How could they be photographed in such a private state? He gently poked Julian's back and whispered a reminder, but Julian seemed not to hear. Instead, his body tensed up and he held on even tighter. It wasn't until both assistants came with towels that Julian finally turned around. With his peach blossom eyes slightly crinkled and a hint of nervousness and flattery, he timidly began, "Mr. Alex, I didn't get a chance to finish." Alex's sharp gaze cut him off coldly. Without another word, he turned and walked away with his assistant. Julian stood there, trembling in his towel, his eyes wide with shock. Alex, in fact, was also flustered. Alex felt both angry and warm. He had been in the entertainment industry for over 10 years, been through ups and downs, and had seen it all. This minor incident today was really nothing. Even if photos were taken, with his influence and connections in the media, it wouldn't cause a big stir. He had been at the top for many years, his status long secured. It had been a long time since anything could shake his position, and it had been a long time since anyone wanted to protect him. Yet today, a young alpha, only 20 years old, had stirred the primitive, weak instincts of an omega within him. Alex was a little too pleased and a little angry, but no matter how angry he was, he didn't lose his rationality. Go find out which film crews are shooting by the river this afternoon. Check them one by one. Anyone who took a photo, have them delete it completely. And make sure they delete it in front of me. Then, make it clear to them that it was me, Alex, who asked, not Julian. If I see any of those photos online, they will have to face my wrath. Alex only needed a glance to know that Julian liked him. The young alpha tried to hide his feelings, but in front of the film emperor, all those little tricks were worthless. People always like to do things that are inappropriate for their age. When they're young, they try to be mature, and when they're grown up, they regret their youth. Alex, a longtime single dog, had always held a foolish dream of his first love, starting with holding hands, watching horror movies at midnight, and riding a carousel in a park. But the older he got, the more he understood that such a pure, youthful love was a distant thing in the adult world. Adult love often starts with the influence of pheromones and ends in the bedroom. That's all. Who would have thought that fate would throw him a little boyfriend who was just 20, just old enough for such things? Thinking about it, he suddenly felt a little excited. Julian was still processing what had happened when he was summoned by his management company. The boy band's new album was about to be released, and the group had to shoot a VCR. The company was in a hurry, so he only had time to send Alex a quick message. "I'm so sorry, my agent pulled me back to the company." He thought the shoot would only take 1 day, but it unexpectedly stretched to 3 because one of his Omega bandmates was experiencing his first rut and hastily marked his childhood friend. Julian congratulated him out loud, but was green with envy on the inside. Alex still hadn't replied to his WeChat message, and his friend circle only posted updates related to the film crew. Julian's mood grew colder each day. He felt that Alex's gaze that day had understood, and his current actions were a mature way of rejecting him, without needing to say it out loud. It made sense. He was a film emperor with all kinds of admirers. What did he, Julian, have to make him like him? He had no acting skills and couldn't even control his pheromones. He was just a useless alpha. Julian felt both heartbroken and melancholic, looking downcast throughout the VCR shoot, as if his parents had just passed away. Fans were worried, wondering if their idol had just gone through a breakup. Julian scoffed. A breakup would be better. I haven't even touched his little hands yet. Julian's new album was released on schedule. After the promotional activities ended, he returned to the film crew. A few of the makeup artists were his fans. During a break, Julian brought some signed CDs to give away. The sisters were overjoyed, posting photos on their social media and teasing him. "Julian, did you bring one for Mr. Alex?" Makeup assistant Amy immediately chimed in, "Mr. Alex probably has a whole drawer full." "I'm so jealous." Julian was stunned. "Mr. Alex listens to my songs?" Amy looked at him as if he were a naive creature from another planet. "Oh my God, he's your fan and you don't know? Last year, he couldn't get a ticket to your concert and even asked me to find a way to get him a backstage pass. His whole team voted for you to debut. I thought you knew." To be honest, it's not just us Omegas in this crew, even some of the Alphas are starting to follow you. This morning, a few of them were even talking about taking a group photo with you. Julian felt as if he'd been hit by a meteorite, his heart soared, and he felt lightheaded, as if he'd been blessed by a divine gift. He stumbled back to his hotel room, his eyes still dazed by the shocking news. Just then, Alex opened the door to his adjacent room to leave. Seeing the young man's dazed, goofy expression, Alex laughed, reaching out to gently stroke Julian's cheek. "What are you daydreaming about?" Julian panicked, wanting to speak but stuttering. "Alex, you are." Alex smiled and pulled him into the room, closing the door behind them. Leaning against the door, he raised an eyebrow playfully. "Yeah, you're back? Not running away this time." Julian clutched at the hem of Alex's shirt, his head bowed, not daring to look him in the eye. "I wasn't running. The company called me back for work." He paused, then asked in a small voice, Do you like me?" Alex deliberately teased him, saying slowly, "Yeah, that's right. I'm your fan. Remember to sign for me later." Julian looked up, his eyes shining. "Not that kind of fan." Alex tilted his head, cutting him off. "Then do you like me?" Julian bit his lip before saying decisively, his face beet red, "I like you. Not like an idol, but like I want to get married and go through a rut with you." Alex let out a gentle laugh, his eyes as warm as sunlight on red wine. "Then congratulations. From today on, you have a boyfriend with a rose-scented pheromone." The story ends with a sweet and intimate moment, with the narrator announcing, "You are listening to Omega 35 Mary's Little Alpha 20 on the Boylove YouTube channel." He spread his arms, a playful smile on his lips. "If you have any sense left, shouldn't you hug your new boyfriend?" Julian could no longer hold back. He lunged into Alex's arms, and like an explosion of long-suppressed desire, he kissed those mischievous lips. The deep, lingering kiss carried all the adoration he had hidden for years, finally satisfied. The souls that had secretly yearned for each other finally found their home. In the room, the air was soon filled with the gentle scent of red wine, mingling with the warm scent of roses. Alex whispered into his ear, "So you're the scent of red wine?" Red wine and roses, a perfect combination for a love that was just budding, but already ripe enough to intoxicate the heart. After officially confirming their relationship, Alex and Julian began to interact more openly on social media. Alex posted a photo of the nutritious lunch Julian had prepared for him, praising his young friend for being both thoughtful and hardworking. Julian, in turn, enthusiastically hyped up Alex's acting skills, hailing his performances as captivating and heart-stopping. After their initial shock, fans from both sides joyfully started to interact and joke with each other. Yet, no one suspected they were in love. After all, their age and status were a world apart. Julian posted a short self-shot video titled, "The Genius Acting Skills I Learned from Film Emperor Alex's Guidance." In the video, Alex quickly performed a series of facial expressions: heartbroken, failed an exam, family passed away, and moved to tears while watching a film. At the end, you could hear Julian's amazed voice exclaiming, "Alex, you're amazing." Alex looked directly into the camera, a smug expression on his face, his eyes sparkling like little stars. Fans who had followed Alex for years knew every detail of his appearance, and they immediately realized the truth. These two were definitely in love. Social media erupted. Julian's fans screamed, "My idol is so promising. He actually snagged a film emperor." I don't deserve to be a fan anymore because I'm not a film emperor. The internet was filled with joyous cheers. When Alex was 25, he won his first Film Emperor award. In an interview with a famous magazine, he was asked about his love life. He answered candidly, "My work is quite busy, so I don't really have the energy for a relationship. But if I do fall in love, I definitely won't choose someone from the industry. We'd be on film sets for 9 months out of the year, so it would be hard to maintain a relationship if we couldn't be together often. As for my ideal type, I prefer someone a bit older who can be more tolerant of me. A 10-year age gap is something I could consider." At the time, the host's expression was priceless. 10 years later, Alex publicly announced his relationship and was interviewed by the same magazine and the same host. The questions were the same as before, but this time, the film emperor's expression was a little pained. The first time Julian stepped into the film emperor's house, he was stunned. The walls were covered with his own pictures. His heart fluttered with a mix of shock and pure joy. That electrifying feeling lasted all evening. Alex instructed him to replace the posters on the wall with pictures from his latest album. Then he told Julian to carefully carry the old posters into the storage room. Julian pushed open the storage room door and was immediately met with a sacred wall of 18 alpha idols, lined up like Buddhist statues, looking down at him seriously. The only difference was that these statues had their chests bared, their eyes seductive, and their expressions flirtatious. Alex proudly boasted, "This is my most treasured idol gallery over the years." Julian couldn't find any joy in this. He slumped like a deflated steamed bun for the rest of the evening, his eyes visibly sad and downcast. Alex couldn't understand what the young man was thinking and decided to let it go. It wasn't until they were in bed that night that Julian wrapped his arms around Alex's waist, restlessly nuzzling against him. "What's wrong, big baby?" Alex gently stroked his back, comforting him. Julian clearly wanted to be coddled and pampered, but wouldn't say it. After being coaxed and soothed in various ways, he finally whispered a few words into Alex's ear. Alex laughed, stroking his hair. "In this entertainment industry, you guys are young but passionate and hardworking, and you bring people joy and motivation. That's enough. I've never regretted idolizing any of you." He paused, then leaned in close and whispered, "But you're not like them. They can only be in my storage room, but you can be in my bedroom." Julian's grandmother, Jennifer Jung, was a famous figure in the film industry from years past. When she was young, she was a great celebrity with a brilliant career. After marrying, she gradually faded from the spotlight, only occasionally appearing when invited by close friends who were directors. When Alex first started his career, he worked with her in a film where they played a mother and son. They got along very well, and Alex, with his sweet talk, constantly called her Sister Jennifer, making her laugh. Time flew by, and more than 10 years passed. One day, Jennifer came to visit an old friend's film set. She happened to hear that her grandson was filming nearby and decided to drop by. It had been over half a year since she'd seen him, and she missed him a little. So Jennifer, with her elegant and commanding presence, gracefully walked into the resting area. "Julian, Grandma, why are you here?" "Alex, Sister Jennifer, it's been a long time." Julian and Alex stood frozen. Julian's mind raced. "Damn it, my boyfriend is calling my grandma sister." Alex's mind raced. "Damn it, my boyfriend is her grandson." The situation was incredibly embarrassing. Later, in an interview, people discovered that Alex had suddenly bought a lot of anti-wrinkle masks and was seriously asking which ones were most effective. The reason was that he had realized his boyfriend was so young that his grandmother had once played his mother. Julian was busy with a series of traveling performances and hadn't seen Alex in a long time. When he finally got a few days off, he immediately flew back. Without even resting, he went straight to the film set. Amid the teasing stares of everyone, he rescued his film emperor and took him home. "Why didn't you say you were coming back?" Alex leaned back in his chair, lazily stretching, a movement that pulled his shirt taut, revealing a sliver of skin and the curve of his collarbone, making everyone's mouths go dry. Julian, seeing this, lost control. He subtly adjusted his posture, wrapped his arms around Alex, and pulled him into his lap. "You didn't even call me," he said, his voice full of grievance. "I've been shooting night scenes until morning these past few days. You've been performing so hard, I didn't want to bother you. I just wanted you to get a little more sleep. I clearly see that you don't miss me." Julian hugged him a little tighter. Alex, with one hand on his phone and the other patting Julian's thigh to soothe him, replied, "I do. I miss you a lot." He looked out the window and smiled softly. "But why do you keep acting so spoiled these days? Stop for a bit up ahead." At the end of the street was a famous fried chicken shop with a special sauce. Julian was obsessed with it. Alex told the driver to go buy some. Julian secretly smiled, thinking, he says he's distant, but he still remembers what I like. He's a thoughtful boyfriend after all. For the sake of the fried chicken, he decided to reduce their usual 7 times a night to 6. As soon as they got home, Alex's Akita dog happily ran out to greet them, its tail wagging like a propeller. "Oh, my good boy, did you miss Daddy?" Alex crouched down to hug the dog, his voice full of affection. "Look what Daddy brought you. Does it smell good?" The dog barked excitedly. "Smells good, wanna eat?" Julian stood behind Alex. Alex placed the fried chicken on the table and turned to him. "Julian, you can feed him. I'm going to go make you some soup. It's almost ready." As he walked to the kitchen, he hummed a new song they had collaborated on, looking relaxed and happy as if on vacation. Julian turned to look at the puppy. Their eyes met. Julian thought, "You little pet-stealing jerk." The Akita thought, "Daddy, I'm scared." When Alex returned, there was no sign of the fried chicken on the table. The Akita was huddled under the table, its eyes welling with tears, looking as if it had just suffered a great tragedy. Alex looked puzzled. "You ate, but you don't look happy. Was the food not good?" He looked up at Julian, who was resting his chin on his hand and looking at the ceiling, an innocent expression on his face. "It was probably so good it moved him to tears," Julian said righteously, but a little bit of sauce on the corner of his mouth was undeniable evidence. Alex was both angry and amused. He reached out and wiped the sauce away. "You're fighting over food with the dog again." Julian pouted and hugged him from behind, reasoning, "You bought it. If you don't want to give it to the dog, then you can only give it to me. But you're still cooking soup for me, right? It's in the kitchen. I ate so much fried chicken. Will I even be able to drink the soup later?" Without another word, Julian lifted Alex onto his shoulder and walked straight to the bedroom. "Don't worry," he said. "A little exercise to burn off some energy, and the soup will taste great." Another year passed. The international flight was delayed as usual, but Julian managed to shorten his layovers and arrived home just in time for Christmas Eve. It was 11:40 p.m. Good thing I made it. As he opened the door, the warm air of the house enveloped him. He put his luggage down and smiled widely. "Honey, I'm home." "Papa." A 4- or 5-year-old boy shot out of a room like a cannonball, throwing himself into Julian's arms. "I missed you so much." The Akita dog followed behind. "Woof woof. Good boy, Papa missed you too." Julian gave his son a quick pat on the head, but his eyes lit up when they fell on the familiar tall figure behind him. He casually took off his jacket and threw it over his son. The boy was so covered that only his little feet were visible beneath the coat. "You're back? I was worried you wouldn't make it, so I cooked your favorite soup." Julian didn't answer. He just pulled Alex into a tight hug, his cold hair brushing against Alex's neck. He pressed his face close and took a deep breath. "Ah, that's the smell. The smell that makes me crazy with longing. Honey, I missed you so much. So much." "Okay, I know. I missed you a lot too." He was now over 30, married for a few years, with a son old enough to buy soy sauce on his own. Yet, Julian was still the same, always wanting to be pampered by him. "Come and see the gifts I brought you." He pulled Alex to the sofa and opened his luggage. Inside, it was stuffed with signed CDs, posters, photos, and all sorts of souvenirs. This time, I met the Backstreet Boys and Justin Bieber. He presented each item to Alex like a precious offering. The boy band Julian had formed was now in its 10th year and more famous than ever. He had won numerous major awards domestically and had also achieved notable success internationally. This trip abroad was for a prestigious award in the global music industry. The award ceremony had many idols that Alex had once idolized. All the spoils of victory were carefully wrapped and placed at the top of Julian's luggage, while his own award trophy was carelessly tossed at the bottom of the suitcase. The clock struck midnight. "Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Go put your things away. I'm going to take a shower. Wait for me in bed later." Alex smiled, picking up all the spoils and leisurely walking upstairs. Julian smiled as he watched him go, but the moment Alex was out of sight, his smile vanished, replaced by the expression of a creditor demanding payment. He turned to look at the Christmas tree in the living room. On the rug were 3 neatly placed gift boxes. Good. The biggest one is mine. Next to it were 2 smaller boxes. He looked down at his little alpha son and the Akita dog huddled beside him. The little alpha's reaction was lightning fast. He immediately understood, using both hands to push his gift box forward and lightly patting the Akita's head. The dog also got the hint, using its paws to push its gift box forward as well. Good boys. Julian checked the boys' gift boxes, took out everything Alex had made for him with his own hands, and tucked it all under his arm before walking coldly upstairs. In the living room, the little alpha and the dog both let out a sigh of relief. They had successfully survived another day with their idol-crazy parent. Thank you, my loves, for listening to the end of the story. Please give me a like and follow me to get notifications for new stories.